All right, folks, so here is a recap of some word problems from last week, Thursday, week 22 Thursday, that people might run into some trouble with, just in case. Some people might have got it, some people not, but let's just go over it just in case. So I think the one about the turntable, number 78, and number 79, some people might have had some trouble with. So here is 78. Here is my diagram. And this is a turntable. Think about a DJ, okay? And think about when the record, this arrow is over here, and think about when the record spins 180 degrees and the record is over here, and the arrow is over here on the record, okay? So according to this problem, all right, you have 60 centimeters when the arrow is at the closest to this motion detector. Let's see what they call it. Yeah, this motion detector, okay, is 60 centimeters away when the green arrow is here, when the green arrow is at its closest, okay? And because the diameter is 25.4, okay, that is going to be what you add to 60 to get to the total distance of where this green arrow is, okay, of where this green arrow is. So, so it's 60 at its shortest, and it is 25.4 at its, and it's 85.4 at its highest, okay? So the trick with this particular word problem is that they represent this visually as a horizontal movement, but we can transform that into a vertical representation like this, okay? So here we go. Let's change this over to green here, and here is my diagram, okay? We're going to start it at its low, like a low tide, okay? And then it goes high right here, and at its low point, it is 60, okay? And at its high point, it's 85.4. Again, the 85.4 is derived from 60 plus 25.4, okay? All right. So that's really all you need. That's really all you, not all you need, but that's a good chunk of what you need for this, to fill in the typical equation we use for tides, okay? So let's go ahead and check this out. So I'm going to go y equals to, all right, let me just make sure that okay, perfect. Okay, y equals to, let's see what letters I use. A, B, H, K. A, and then we're going to do sine or cosine. B, X plus or minus H plus K. Okay? Now with these two pieces of information alone, right here and here, we're able to find A and H, excuse me, A and K, okay? Now so to find, this is what we talked about last week, to find K, okay, you do max plus min divided by 2, which will give you the midpoint here, okay? And that's going to be 85.4 plus 60 divided by 2, okay? Now, to find A, well, let's just figure out what that is. 85.4 plus 60 divided by 2 gives you 72.7, okay? A is literally just max minus min divided by 2, which will give you the height, okay, starting from the midpoint, okay? the height from the midpoint, either one of those double-headed arrows. That's what we're solving for with A. So that's going to equal to 85.4 minus 60 divided by 2, which gives us 12.7. Okay? And we are going to pick cosine, and because it starts on a low tide, we're going to make it minus cosine. Okay? Minus cosine. Okay? And there is no horizontal shift or horizontal translation. So h is just going to be 0, okay, because it starts perfectly. We're going to model it starting perfectly at the low tide. B is your period, okay? B is your period, so we can go, okay, we can look at this as low. We're going to look at low to low. Okay, we're going to look at the low point and compare it to the other low point. Okay, so here are low points there, and there's a low point here at t equals to 0. Okay, that's implied. Okay, so I can fill in one that's implied here, 0 and 60. Okay, that's implied right here. Okay. So you can do a period. Remember, a period is when a graph, the time it takes for a graph to repeat itself. So when a graph is at a high point to a high point, a midpoint, a medium point to a medium point, or a low point to a low point, I'm choosing to measure from low point to low point. Okay, so our period, okay, if we go from this low to this low, okay, is going to be 1.8, and it will also be 1.8 if you measure it between this low and this low. Okay, but just so that things don't get too busy on this slide, I'm just going to use the 1.8 at the top. Okay, so remember, our equation is 2 pi over b, this is the formula we use, equals to your period. Okay, and then you cross multiply, and you essentially get 2 pi times, okay, let me write that a little better, times 1 equals to 1.8 times b. And you divide both sides by 1.8, and you essentially get 2 pi over 1.8 equals to b, or b equals to pi over 0.9. Okay? So your final equation is going to have these yellow highlights substituted on the bottom into the letters on top. Okay, and remember, there's nothing for h. Okay, that takes care of A, that takes care of B, that takes care of C. Scatter plot, you don't need to worry about that because I hooked you up with that right over here. Okay, that was 78 that we just did. I did it for you right here. Okay. All right, I'm going to make a separate video for 79.